Good. Microphone. All right. All right. So, how many people have read this Parsha? At least looked at it, maybe glanced at it, went to sleep on it. All right, great. So we're going to go over a couple of things, I guess I would say. One is dealing with what does it mean, re'eh, for an example, and we're going to go over a little bit about Belial. We're going to go over, or as it's commonly called, Belial. We'll see what that really means in a minute, and go from there. So before we get started, we'll look at Debariym 11:26 is the opening of this Parsha. It's called Re'eh. And I got the King James Version, KJV, ESV version. Slight differences, but then we'll read it in the Hebrew, and then we'll do like an interlinear type reading. All right. The first one everyone already can tell is, behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. All right. And then the ESV verse says, see, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. All right. Now, in the Hebrew there, I guess I'll just go ahead and read it, unless you guys been doing y'all studies on it. Excellent. Okay, so it's well, let me get my pen out here. So Re'eh Anochi Notain Lefenechem Hayom. Right? So all I did was read here to here, and it says, see, I am setting before you today. And then it's Beracha Uchlala, which is a blessing and a curse. Right? Now, this is the part where I think you guys can join in. That is Re'eh, that's our Parsha, right? Means to what? See. Anochi, which means I. Notain, which means set. Let me put this down a little bit here. There we go. And lefenechem, before you, or you all technically. Hayom, which is today or this day. And what is he setting? Beracha, a blessing. Uchlala, and a curse. Hallelujah. All right. So I knew you guys did really well. Hallelujah. All right. So the first word here, defining the Hebrew word re'eh. The etymology of this root word is attested most widely in the South Semitic language, OSA, which means Old South Arabic, the Ethiopic or the Ethiopian, with the nominal derivative of re'ayat, view or vision, re'ah, viewer, observer. So then I got the Canaanite, where it says outside the Hebrew Bible, the re'eh occurs 3 times in Lachish letters. So I just decided to give you a picture of what the Lachish letters look like. And one of the texts, the call means keep watch. Okay, keep watch. From a military observation post, observe carefully. So if you look at this here, you'll see right here. Okay. So I guess I can put on this one here as well. All right. Anyway, we'll keep going here. Examples of this word. So the first 2 you guys are going to know. Then after that, I need your guys' help. The first one you see, it says, and he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, right? See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahuah has blessed. What do you mean, see, the smell of my son? What does that word see mean here? It's in the verb. What does it mean? You see the smell?
But it brings fish to mind.
Okay. Bring something to mind. All right, great. 7:1. Shemot, Exodus 7:1 says, and Yahuah said unto Moshe Moses, see, I have made you a Elohim to Pharaoh, and to Aaron, your brother, shall be your prophet. Okay, so it says, and Yahuah said unto Moshe Moses, what? Yes. See. Okay, how does he see here? Okay, everyone's understanding, right? So there's a thing that's going to be changing, a transformation with this word as we keep going. Next one, it says in Shemot 33:13, now therefore I pray you, if I found favor in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, that I may find favor in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people. Where is the word re'eh there?
Sight.
Sight, huh?
Consider.
Consider.
Consider. Oh,
See, it's changing.
he changed it.
Okay, what in the English? Right? But I'm just sharing you through when you start to see something, because remember he's asking, I'm putting something before you. So I need you to see it. I need you to consider it. Right? So a lot of times we see things, we don't understand what we see. All right, so we'll keep going. 24, it says, rise up, take your journey, and pass over the river of Arnon. Behold, I have given into your hands Sihon, as they come to heaven, and the Amori, or the Amorites, king of Heshbon, and has land begin possess it and contend with him in battle. Where is the word there? There. Behold.
Okay.
All right. And we'll go to 1 Chronicles 21:12. Debariym 21:12 says, either 3 years famine or 3 months to be destroyed before your foe, while that sword of your enemies overtake you, or else 3 days of the sword of Yahuah, even the pestilence in the land, and the Malach, or the messenger coming, called the angel of Yahuah, destroying throughout all the coasts of Yashral, or Israel. Now therefore advise yourselves what word I shall bring again to him that sent me. Where is Re'eh there? No worries. We're going to keep it moving. Advise. Okay, advise or decide. Okay. All right, and now we're going to go to 1 Chronicles 28:10. It says, take heed now, for Yahuah has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it. Where do you see the word Re'eh there? Okay. Heed. Everyone sees this, right? So you're seeing how we first get the picture of seeing something, but this is beyond a specific sight. Okay, now in this morphology, this will make perfect sense. But for those that just really don't get the Hebrew, I'm just saying you can get yourself something that can share with you about the different lemmas and go from there. But for right now, this seeing is more than just what you see with your eyeballs. Right?
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting into a little bit deeper as to what he's asking. All right. So the Hebrew word re'eh and Latin, we'll talk about Latin in just a minute. But so far we got to see, which we all understand, or to consider, something that's revealed or behold, to advise or decide or to take heed to. So this lemma is helpful in its morphology. When it is in this form, you have the ability to perceive, understand, or distinguish what is being set or notated before or in front of you. Okay? The word notated also helps us see what it means to set. The thing that is being set before you means you have the understanding to choose if you want it or not. It's giving you this opportunity. Right, so we're going to look at some examples here in Bereshit, or Genesis 9:12, where it says, and Elohim said, this is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for a perpetual generation. Where's the word there? Notated. Okay, so we know it says set in our Parsha, but let's see what else it means. To make. I'm setting something. I'm making something with you. Right? So if you're looking at what he said, when you see something, you consider that I want to make this with you. I'm hoping you're picking up what he's saying before you accept this covenant. Okay? We'll go to the next one. It says, wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace. Where do you see the word? Give. Good. Okay, so I'm giving this to you. So I said, if you see or take heed to what Yahuah is setting, making, and giving to you in the covenant, which is the blessing and the curse, which we'll see in a minute. He wants you to attach this to you and your descendants. Okay, so the descendants don't have a choice. All right, they did at that time, and this is why you're supposed to be passing this down to the generation. Okay, it's not just those that are not here. He's letting you know you got to pass this thing down. So when you put these pieces together, we can know and see what Yahuwah is asking of us. So can you see me in what you have agreed to? This is what he's asking the children of Israel. Once you understand, you have to make a choice. We have to have the ability to distinguish between the two. Know what you are signing up for. Okay, so he takes it very serious. Okay, we don't play with it and then think we're gonna make it in. We're gonna glide right on in. But I knew what you were talking about. You know, there's some great days and some bad days, but I'm good, right? So when was the first blessing and curse choice come to be or came to be? In the garden. All right. So we're gonna look at that in a minute, but before then, remember, the Parsha says, "Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse." Debariym, which is we'll talk about much later when we get there. Debariym 30:19 says, "I have heaven and earth to record this day against you. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your seed may live." You see, you and the seeds after you. Got to start teaching the descendants, your children, or the next generation this, okay? Because again, they're going to fall into this curse or this generational curse. All right, so notice blessings equal life and curses equals death. So in the garden, 2:9, listen to what it says. "And out of the ground made Yahuwah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Behold, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat of it, but in the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die." So what has happened in the garden is happening today, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So think about what was said and compare it to the next scripture I'm about to give. So before I do that, notice something, that you see the tree of life, and then the tree of knowledge of good and evil produces what? You shall surely die. It produces death. So it's giving you your blessings and your curses right there. Is everyone with me so far? All right, now look at this here. 3:6. "And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband her each with her, and he did eat." So I said compare the parallels with this and 2:9. So think about it. If you look at here, Yahuwah, right? He made, right? To grow every tree. What did he say? Is pleasant to what? To the sight and good for food. So who said that? You come down here, it says who now? The woman saw that the tree that was what? Was good for food. And that it was pleasant to what? To the eyes, the desire to make one wise. So you see what winds up happening here, right? And then of course the man did eat as well. They were with me so far, but the parallel is what Yahuwah said was good, what we say is good. Okay, this is what I'm getting at for this time. Next year we're really gonna get into this one. All right. So putting it all together, right? So the things set before you is a blessing, which equals life, and curses equals death. So what you take in determines what comes out. Food that you eat physically and spiritually. Everyone agrees to that, right? So first bullet is food with seeds in it can produce fruit after its kind. What Yahuwah calls food is food. Okay, you can't change that. I mean, you can't make pig food. It's just, it never was. Okay? This would be a blessing for you. So his seed in us will or should produce after his kind, right? It's his word. We're trying to work in his word, which should be producing after his kind, right? Now, food with no seed cannot produce after its kind. This is considered bad. So two types or kinds, if you will. Something with no seed will have to be engineered to seem like it has no seed, yet it does though. Okay, you ever seen a watermelon? This is a seedless watermelon, but do you see these little white things in there? Okay, so just keep that in mind. Why is it that this thing is called that? Because it's now, this seed cannot do what it's originally supposed to do. That one little white seed, if you will, right? It cannot produce after its kind. It may taste good. It may even, it looks the same, but it's not good for you. It's not the same. Okay, so then we'll see that in a little bit. So pleasant to the sight and good for food. We just read that Yahuah already showed what was pleasant and good. We also read what we saw was pleasant to our sight and what we determined was good to make us wise. You see the difference here? So we'll follow the Father as long as it's convenient for us or as long as we like it. But the minute you don't like it, you start to figure out, can I make this better? Can I do something? And then you start believing you're more wiser, if you will. You're not going to say this to the Most High, obviously, but you're going to be, I'm a little bit more wiser. Let me just try to manipulate a little bit of this so that it is palatable for me. Okay? What we get so far. So we are doing the same thing or things today that happened in the garden, that happened in the wilderness, that happened when they became a nation. Our situation determines what tree we will eat from. We have to stop challenging his word, but start understanding it. It seems the only time we choose life is when we are in a life or death situation, or when all else, meaning our attempts, fails or it failed. Now let me try you. See that? Versus just let me just do it, walk out in faith, see if this thing's going to work. Sometimes we don't like that. Right? So that's what I'm saying. We have to start saying, when he says, do you understand? Do you see? And I'm setting something before you. Do you understand the consequence that you're about to take when you do this? Because you're about to place this inside yourself. Okay? We're going to see that later on. Think about Mishnah Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So I put in there for the word power is the word for hands, yad, right? Primitive word, root word for hands. So can anyone help me understand why it's called power? Now, it's quite a few places called power, but why here? Yeah, yad. Okay. So again,
pushing, pulling.
Yeah, your mouth, your hands, everything is what he's saying. This is life and death is in this. And we have to start considering, what we say and things that we do. So I said we have to mature in his word. The word there, tamim, which is translated as perfect in just about most translations, depending on its syntax. But it's integrity, truth, to mature, without blemish, complete, full, perfect, upright. Right? So remember, we used to talk about this every year, just about, are we perfect? And you say, no, I'm not perfect. And I said, well, but he commanded you to be perfect. So how can he command you something that you can't be? And then we start realizing he's saying, what? Just walk in truth, integrity, be mature. Okay. And then that creates this without blemish, complete, full, perfect, upright. That's what that creates. Not Webster's dictionary perfect, right? All right. So I hope we're getting this. Any questions so far? Huh?
So is that like, the parable of like when the world says you can't be perfect, but then that's their fruit. You then was already say ordained something where perfect.
Right. So this, if you're saying this world says, meaning this world's definition of perfect is based off of Webster's dictionary. We're saying that we're not looking for the Webster's dictionary to define the scripture. What defines the scripture is his word, the original language, if you will. Those definitions help us see what he's asking us to do. Okay? All right. So here says the mission we need to see. So Luke 8:10, everyone's familiar with it. He said unto you, it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Elohim. It says what? but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hearing they may not understand. So now the parable is this: the seed is the word of Elohim. Everyone should agree that is the seed, right? This is what you're supposed to see. Some are seeing but not seeing it. Some people are hearing it but not hearing it. Okay. Those by the wayside are they that hear. Then comes the devil. Here comes your adversary and takes away the word of Elohim, out of their hearts and their minds, lest they should believe and be saved. That's the requirement. Okay. So what Yahuah set before us has a purpose: to produce his word, causing like kind. When a stranger or sojourner takes hold of the covenant, he or she becomes like native born, right? So we cannot change his word. We should see the mysteries of the kingdom in us and in the shadow of things to come. Why? That this day does not take us as a thief in the night. But if we keep fighting his word, or among one another, we will be passed over. I don't think you're going to make it into his kingdom if you haven't matured. Okay? Stop making wrong choices. Stop the blaming each other. Change the things that you know to be wrong. Embrace the things that are right. The fear should not be in mankind, but in Yahuah. Okay? So his word should start to transform right in front of you first. That's where it starts, in you. After you, then you can come on outside and try to help others. Right? Mm-hmm. Blessing and curse. We're going to see this twice. So I'll read it first. It says, "And the curse, if you will not obey the commandments of Yahuah Elohim, but turn aside out of the way, which I command you this day, to go after other Elohim or other mighty ones, which you have not known. And it shall come to pass, when Yahuah Elohim has brought you in unto the land, whither you go to possess it, that you shall put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal, or as they say, Ebal, right? So keep this in mind. Here's a picture of Shechem, right? Is in the center, but here's a picture of the two places where they put the blessings and the curse. Everyone sees that, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so those that have been here, huh? We're going to see this. We'll get a bigger picture. I'm going to show everybody just in a minute. But, you know, I don't think we've ever taken everybody. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, so we'll take everybody that maybe on Sukkot. All right, but in Israel. But this is where this was happening, right? So just so we have a clear understanding. Here, on top of it, on the left, you see this is what you're going to see in Mount Gerizim. To the right, you're going to see that's in the Mount Ebal. Right? The ruins there. All right, so back to the Parsha, rereading the same thing we just read, and it says, "And a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Yahuah Elohim, turn aside out of the way, which I command you this day, go after the Elohim, which you have not known." And then 29 says, "And it shall come to pass, when Yahuah Elohim has brought you in unto the land, whether you go to possess it, that they shall put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal." And then verse 30 is where I really want to go to. It says, "And they are not of the other side of the what? Yardain or Jordan, but they where the sun goes down in the land of Hanani, or the Canaanites, which dwelt in the," and it says, campaign, which we'll talk about, or the Artabar, realistically, over against what? Gilgal, besides what is the word there? What does it say there in Hebrew there? Elonei Moreh. Okay. So in the King James, it has plains of Moreh, right? Now in the ESV version, it says, "Are they not beyond the Yarden or the Jordan, west of the road, towards the going down of the sun, and in the land of the Hananim or the Canaanites, who live in the Arabah, opposite or in front of, if you will, Gilgal, besides the Elonei Moreh, oaks of Moreh." So you see a difference? One has
The plains.
plains of Moreh, one has
Tree.
oaks, right? So I said one says plains of Moreh, the other says oaks. Which one is it?
The plains.
Okay. This go with oaks and strength if you get down to the shoresh of the root. Okay? But I'll share with you why it says plains. All right, so here's a picture of actually where they found a site. And what is that type of tree?
Oak tree.
Oh.
All right, now let's look at this map for a minute. So notice the direction. This is a 3D map. So we're looking from south to north. Okay, we're going from south to north. So if we're here, all I want us to pay attention to is here and here for a minute, for right now. All right, so what was it that they said previously?
The plains.
Right, but it tells you west of the road, going down of the sun. It says in land of Canaan, so we are in Canaan. It says who lives where? Live in the Arabah, opposite of Gilgal, right? All right, so now if you look over here, notice what's happening here. Where's Arabah at? Right here, right? And it's on the opposite side, on front of Gilgal, right? So you see that, and then here's the plains of Moab. But my point is, look where Gilgal is also in. It's also in the plains. Okay, so this is why they're saying, hey, this is in the plains. That's the first part. Let me erase all this so you can see. All right. So now, you read this really fast. So it says, and the people came up out of the Jordan or the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and they camped in Gilgal in the east borders of Jericho, right? And those 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan did Joshua pitch in Gilgal. So notice where Jericho is supposed to be. This is where it is, right here. Okay? Everyone sees that, right? So scriptures don't lie. The map is not lying. Everyone with me so far? All right. Parsha reading says, but when you go over the Jordan or the Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahuah gives you to inherit, and when he gives you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yahuah shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Here shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vowed unto Yahuah. And you shall rejoice before Yahuah, you and your sons and your daughters and your manservants and your maidservants, and the Lewi or the Levites that is within your gates, for as much as he has no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to yourselves that you offer not your burnt offerings in every place that you see, but in the place which Yahuah choose in one of your tribes, that you shall offer your burnt offering, and there you shall do all that I command you. Is this pretty straightforward?
Yes.
All right. We'll keep going. 15 says, notwithstanding you may kill and eat flesh in all your gates, whatsoever soul lust after, according to the blessing, Yahuah, which has given you, the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of their roebuck and as their heart. Only you shall not eat the blood. You shall pour it upon the earth as water. You may not eat within your gates the tithes of your corn, or of your wine, or of your oil, or your firstling of your herds, or of your flock, nor any of your vows which you vow, nor your freewill offering or heave offering of your hand. But you must eat them before Yahuah Elohim in the place which Yahuah Elohim shall choose, you and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant and the Levites is within the gates, and you shall rejoice before Yahuah Elohim in all that you put your hand to or unto. Take heed to yourselves that you forsake not the leading of the Levites as long as you live upon the earth. When Yahuah your Elohim shall enlarge your border, as he has promised you, and you shall say, I will eat flesh, because your soul longs to eat flesh, you may eat flesh whatsoever your soul lusts after. That
Why
doesn't
you
matter.
say-
I can eat whatever I want. Is that what he said?
I'm not getting it. They don't supposed to lust after nothing. Why is their soul lust
Because
after
the
flesh?
English word is killing you.
Yes, it is.
So if I say desire,
Okay.
you good. It's the same word
Okay,
in the Hebrew. He said, hey, oh my goodness, that flesh looked nice. The way that person cut that lamb chop. Oh, I'm just thinking about
Everybody had a question at 12:15.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to it.
That's where everybody had a normal question.
Oh yeah, we get to it in just a minute. Verse 15. It says, notwithstanding, you may kill and eat flesh in your gates, whatsoever your soul lusts after or desires after, according to the blessing of Yahuah Elohim, which is given to you. It says, the unclean, the clean may eat thereof, as the roebuck and as the hart, right? So what does this scripture mean, the unclean and the clean? So think about it. No worries. I'll put it right here on the screen for you. Some might believe that this is talking about foods,
Right.
Oh, no, it's not.
right?
No.
That we can eat both clean and unclean foods. But this is not the case. It's talking about people being clean and unclean. That is ceremonial clean and unclean. If a person has touched a dead thing, skin disease, or a woman on her nidah, right? Or has just come off her nidah, they are considered unclean and cannot come to the Mishkan, right? To offer sacrifice. However, they can kill and eat. They can clean the clean animals at their own dwellings. Okay, so the Torah instruction mentions the gazelle and the deer, which are clean animals. They couldn't offer them as sacrifices, though, right? You don't get a deer or say, "Hey, this is my sacrifice to you, Yah." Not happening. Only bulls, cows, goats, rams, sheep were accepted as sacrifice. The gazelle and deer were wild, clean animals that an Israelite could hunt, kill, and eat with his family. Everyone know anyone that had that? Huh? Remember who Esau?
Esau was
Venison.
He wanted some of that good venison, didn't he?
I did.
He's mad the way he make that thing. He take all the game he said. Anyway,
Thank
so
you for cleaning that part up, but clean and unclean. I wrestled with that. After I read, I said, but now I know.
yeah, he's talking to people that he's already given the dietary laws to. Because you remember, as you keep reading, it goes right into the dietary laws in chapter 14. So he's sure letting you know that I'm not talking about unclean animals. Then I'm about to tell you, and a couple of chapters later, well, these are the clean and these are unclean. No, that's not what he's talking about. Huh?
Someone's asking, that ceremony of uncleanness refer also to Deuteronomy 24:1-4.
Okay, so it's 21 through 4. You talking about, you're talking about as far as a woman? Well, this is specifically talking about food. That's specifically talking about giving a bill of divorce, and that's what they're referring to. Deborah 24:1-4 is dealing with if you find found some uncleanness in her, and this is basically like, one of the ways of a woman being unclean is, let's say, a stripper. She's showing her nakedness, right? That has nothing to do with that. She can still eat. She's not going to starve, So that means the clean or the unclean. But yeah. Okay. If the place is too far, if the place which Yahuah Elohim has chosen to put his name there to be too far from you, then you shall kill or of your herd and of your flock, which Yahuah has given you, as I have commanded you, and you shall eat in your gates whatsoever souls loved after. That means I can't eat cow, lamb, goat, right? Even as the gazelle of the roebuck and the deer of the hart is eaten, so you shall eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that you eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, right? Life is in the blood. And you may not eat the life with the life. Okay? You can't be eating that thing while it's still kicking, right? Now, okay. Verse 24.
Okay, like he's a big flesh.
Yeah. They got stuff on. If you look on YouTube and Facebook, people eating livestock still alive, still kicking. You know, you see a lot of that.
Especially with the Asian countries.
Yeah, so the Asian countries do a lot,
Dogs.
huh?
They eat really dogs.
Yeah, but they do. But those that they eat, it's not live. They flip it upside down and they burn the coat and then call it dead. All right. So verse 24 it says, "You shall not eat it. You shall pour it upon the earth as water. You shall not eat it, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, when you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuah. Only your chodesh, your set apart things which you have, and your vows you shall take and go unto the place which Yahuah shall choose." Yahuah shall choose, right? So again, you can have these things, but if you're doing your vows, if you're doing certain things, where are you going to do that at? Place that he has chosen. Okay. 29. It says, "When Yahuah Elohim shall cut off the nations from before you, wherever you go to possess them, and you succeed them, and dwell in their land, take heed to yourselves, that you be not snared by following them, after that they be destroyed from before you, and that you inquire not after their Elohim, saying, how did these nations serve their Elohim? Even so will I do likewise." Don't go in there trying to figure out, just destroy them because that was the very thing that got them out. And then you're going to go seek after how they did theirs, and you're going to start doing the same thing, or even implement that into the Father's way. Huh? Right. And then it says, what else it says you do? You follow after that. It says, even so you will do likewise. Right? You shall not do so unto Yahuah Elohim forever, for every abomination to Yahuah, which he hates, have they done unto their Elohim, for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their Elohim. What thing soever I command you, observe to do it. You shall not add thereto, nor diminish from it. Okay?
Even like marriage practices, like marriage, like was marriage. Yeah.
That's what you said you did?
No, I'm not saying.
Oh, not you. Okay, I got you. Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying that that's like saying like.
Well, this is specifically talking about mighty ones.
Oh.
Right, specifically mighty ones. You're not going to serve Elohim the way the other nations serve their Elohim.
It's an abomination.
Yeah, that's the abomination. Now, however you do your wedding, if you want to jump the broom and lick the snot, that's your choice. Okay.
Hey, I know that tradition.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I'm a slug. No. All right. We'll keep going.
You really want it. I got you.
Uh-huh. Dreamer of dreams. So if there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or wonder comes to pass, where he spoke unto you, saying, let us go after other Elohim,
Negative.
which you have not known, and let us serve them. Now, mind you, he can do that in his mind, because what? It came to pass. That must mean whoever I'm talking about, whoever gave me this dream, isn't it true? Right? It might entice you a little bit. You shall not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahuah Elohim proves you. He's going to test you, right? To know whether you love Yahuah Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul, right? So it may come to pass. You say, Father, I'm not sure now. He said, okay, you can fail that test if you want to. You shall walk after Yahuah Elohim and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from Yahuah Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim or Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust you out of the way which Yahuah Elohim commanded you to walk in. So shall you put the evil away from the midst of you. Okay, let's see who some of these are. If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or your wife, or your Isha of your bosom, or your friend, which is as your own soul, your closest friend, entice you secretly, saying, let us go and serve other Elohim, which you have not known, you nor your fathers, namely of the Elohim of the people which are around about you, nigh unto you, for as far off from you, from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth, you shall not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall your eyes pity him, neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him, but you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. So you got to put it on first. He shall act up. You better get right. Get some stones.
You got to bring it. I guess you can bring it immediate to
judges. Well, yeah, all of them is going to be, once everyone's out there, then you got to walk up as the, do what you got to do. And everybody's going to be following you. In other words, you're going to have some support. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm not saying you ain't going to fill the jailhouses. I'm just saying here, it's talking about when you get into the land. But if you want to try it here, say, because Elohim said, you have a prison ministry. It's fine. Yeah. You can tell everybody how you got here. It's okay. Got it. All right. So then it says, verse 10. And you shall stone him with stones that he die, because he has sought to thrust you away from Yahuah Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, from the house of bondage. And all your Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this among you. They've all done this in all nations. He's purging out. Okay.
Well, usually that would happen, right? If your mother, your father, your brother, whoever, they feel that their prayer was answered by this other mighty one. They're praying, or they found some good fortune. They said, wow, this is since I've been praying to this other mighty one, or since I've been serving this mighty one, my life has been all roses. Come on over, the water's fine. I got this big old house, got nice, got cars, I got money.
But you got two things that you got to figure out, which is easy to figure out. But you got two things you got to figure out. One is it their Elohim that's doing it? Like they're doing covenants today and doing those things and giving all these rewards. Or is it Yahuah allowing it to be done just to see if you'll do that? Wow. That's your test, right? That's how it works. But, if people want to go down that road, so be it. Okay, who is, what does that say? Belial. Belial. Okay, so who is what's called Belial, or as most people say, Belial, right? So Belial. So who is this person? So we're going to read about it. Well, first, before we do it, who is this?
The devil.
It's the devil. Okay. Anyone else? That is it. All right. So we're going to see in just a minute. All right. So we'll start at 13:12. It says, if you shall hear, say, in one of thy cities, which Yahuah Elohim has given you to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other Elohim, which you have not known. Then shall you inquire and make search and ask diligently, and behold, if it be true truth to it, realistically, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought among you. And I paused. I said the word Belial, translated as a type of manifestation. This word is linked to a people, a mindset, and a being. Okay? Something spiritual in the form of an attitude or a force, which we'll see in a minute. Okay, there are some lexicons that translate it from the Hebrew as worthless, while others translate it as yokeless, so when it doesn't have a yoke. Okay, Belial. There are some scholars that link these types of forces to be in the children of destruction, children of lawlessness, children of darkness, and children of disobedience. We're going to see all of these names. Okay, is everyone with me so far? All right, so here's some examples. 1 Samuel 2:12. This is now the son of Eli, or as some call him Eli, were sons of Belial. They knew not Yahuah. Now, these sons, who is, it says they're sons of, who is this?
Eli, the priest, yeah.
Okay, but it says the sons of Eli were,
Sons of
Sons
Belial,
of,
how is that possible?
because of their attitudes and mindset, he was followed.
Okay,
What they,
he was opposite of what he was.
what they actually believed.
okay, so again, even there could be the children of Belial among your own people, wheat and tares. Okay, so we're going to see a little bit more of this in just a minute. Verse 13 says, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, as we read, but joined inhabitants of the city, saying, let us go and serve other Elohim, but you have not known, because they want you to draw you into their Elohim. Okay? Now, 14 says, then shall you inquire and make search and ask diligently, and behold, if it be truth, and the thing certain that such abomination is brought among you. Proverbs 6:12, a naughty person or a Belial person, a wicked man, walks with a forward mouth. Okay, so what pattern do you see thus far?
What do they mean by forward mouth?
A forward mouth?
It's like,
Yeah, it's like a perverse mouth. Mm-hmm.
They speak enticing words to lure people away from Yahuah and his word. They use their mouth and the words out of their mouth to confuse and bring people into the wrong path.
Okay, so the pattern that you should see here is from what we first went over. We're going to get more into in just a minute. But right now, the sons or the children of Belial are those that are just, they don't know Yahuah. Because if you did, you wouldn't be operating in this way, right? Operating in a form of disobedience. Next thing you see is not only they're not doing that, but now they got a certain mouthpiece behind it. Now they're trying to promote their Elohim as well. Everyone with me so far? So we're ramping this thing up a little bit. And the Qumran also talks about Belial as being someone that deals with someone that has pride. They're the sons of pride. All right. Someone with a forward mouth or falling away from Yahuah, not knowing Yahuah by the influence of other Elohim and or other nations' Elohim is called a Belial. Okay? All right, so on the left, we'll start to the left side here, which is the war scroll in the Qumran community. And it says, I'll read where it says here, and you made Belial for the pit. He's a malach or messenger coming called an angel of enmity. Okay? In darkness, in his domain, his counsel is to bring about wickedness and guilt. All the spirits of his lot are melachim or messengers, coming called angels of destruction. They walk in the laws of darkness, right? The law of sin or laws of sin. Towards it goes their only desire. That's all they want to do. All right, now, Jubilees. I just gave you a little snippet of part of Jubilees that they found. They got a lot that they actually found, but I just, for the sake of time. Jubilees 15:33 says, and now I shall announce to you that the sons of Yisrael or Israel will deny this ordinance and they will not circumcise their sons according to all of this law, because some of the flesh of their circumcision they will leave in the circumcision of their sons, and all of the sons of Belial will leave their sons without circumcising, just as they were born. Okay, so again, you're going to see some lawlessness that's going to take place, right? So,
Heavy accusation. That's a pretty heavy accusation.
oh yeah, they don't mind doing it neither.
Not gonna circumcise my son.
Well, you know, hey, that's a covenant that I won't go too far into that right now until we get on the other side of that book. But from here, I want you to think about what you see over here, let's say with the war scroll. Some things that should stand out is there's a malach or messenger that of enmity, right? And of destruction, right? So I put on here, just for right now, we'll see this more when we probably go a little bit more into this. But remember, Bereshit 3:15, I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed, and it shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his head. So there's a being that the Most High put enmity between, and it has a seed, right? And the seed is going to be between one seed versus the other seed. This is going to be the fight that we're going to see, right? One seed is going to look better than the other seed to some people. Remember I said it's not a seed, but really there is a seed. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, I use this here. Hey, listen. I know that, you know, people say, hey, I never heard of this book, Ascension of Isaiah. This is between the 1st and 3rd century. Now, what happened in the 1st and 3rd century? What else was written during this time? The Brit Hadashah was commonly called the New Testament, was written the same time this was also written. So it may not be in there because they choose not to have it in there. You know, hey, when I canonized it well, I just wanted these. But my point is, I'm using this on to share some things just to show you some parallels and similarities of that day and see what they were saying about this. There's much more, but I'm just going to limit it to this right here. So it says, and Manasseh turned aside his heart to serve Belial, for the Moloch of lawlessness, who is the ruler of this world, is Belial, whose name is Manabaches, and we'll talk about that in the future. Okay? Yeah. Hey, it's an attribute.
Oh, okay.
So for right now, what does this say here? This one here, this Moloch is considered a lawless Moloch, right? All right, and he's a ruler of this world. Anyone know else? Anyone that's like that? Okay. Oh yeah. All right. So now, really fast. 2 Thessalonians 2:8-9 says, and then the lawless one will be revealed, whom Adonai Yahushua will kill with the breath of his mouth and bring unto nothing but by the appearance of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Shaitan, or Satan, with all power and false signs and wonders. Okay? Now, keep this in mind. We're going to go to Ascension Isaiah 4:4, and then 14, and then 16. So the Moloch, Belial, will come in the form of that king. And with him will come all the powers of this world, and they will obey him in every wish. 14. And after 1,332 days, Yahuah will come with his Melachim and with the host of the saints from the seventh heaven, with the esteem of the seventh heaven, and will drag Belial and his host also into Gehenna. Okay? Then 16 says, and to all who, because of their faith in him, have cursed Belial and his kings, but the saints will come with Yahuah with their robes, which are stored up in the seventh Shamayim, or heaven above. With Yahuah will come those whose spirits are clothed. They will descend and be present in the world, and Yahuah will strengthen those who are found in the body, together with the saints in the robes of the saints, and will serve those who have kept watch in this world. Now, there's a whole parallel between this book of Revelations, some other books. I'm only just giving you this only because of the topic is about Belial. But if you really go into the research about the Ascension of Isaiah, you'll see a whole lot more, and it parallels just about all the books in the Greek CashApp.
It must have been concentrated because you see it all through Peter's writings, you see it through Shaw's writings.
Yep, you'll see a lot of parallels. So I'm just simply saying this here, but I know some people are upset now. You went outside the canon. Okay, I understand. Well, again, it's sometimes it's hard when you think about it. When someone canonizes something, you got to understand there is also a purpose behind why they're doing this.
Right.
Okay.
Just like the slavery.
Right. Yeah. Slavery Bible off the meter.
Only give them what they want.
But for right now, I'm just sharing for this course here. So I'll keep going. 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Be you not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and with communion have light with darkness? And what concord has Mashiach with Belial? Or what part has he that believes with an infidel?" So I put the unbeliever is yokeless. Okay? He's yokeless. They have no law, no righteousness. Okay, not of light, but of darkness. So you think about sons of light, sons of darkness. As I say, when we really want to do a parallel between the Dead Sea Scrolls and a lot of the writings that is in the Brit Hadashah, you're going to find there's a lot of similarities there. And so, but by doing it right now, all I'm simply stating is that you'll see that and a lot of parallels with the Septuagint. I really encourage someone to get the Septuagint and look at how many quotes is in the Brit Hadashah with the Septuagint. All right. Anyway, the Septuagint generally renders the son of Belial versus the scriptures either as lawless sons, by idiom sons of pestilence. Okay, that's what they are in among you. They're going to be like pestilence. Okay. All right. So these are just some samples of some old Septuagint. Of course, these things predate the Masoretic text that we're using today, right? Meaning the first 5 books. And then the remaining of them comes later. They consider those the Christian books, if you will. Okay, because a lot of the first century were using the Septuagint. That's where you see a lot of quotes. Let's just say, for example, I'll give you one in Hebrews, where it talks about a body was prepared for me, right? Where you don't find that in the Masoretic text, but you will find that in the Septuagint. A body was prepared for me. I come in a volume of the book that was written of me. All right, so, but we're not doing it today. Here's a question for you guys. This is in Dead Sea Scrolls, right? And Moshe, Moses, Aaron, and Aaron stood in the power of the Prince of Light, and Belial raised up Yanis, and who else did he raise up? You may say, I don't know. Jambres. Now, where is this coming from? Let's look. 2 Timothy 3:8. Now, as Yanis and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. Where did 2 Timothy get who this person is? As they would say, Johnny. So you don't find it in the Tanakh.
No.
Okay, so but where do you get this? That's what I'm saying. You'll see a lot of parallels of the older writings that they're using that they knew of that was not a part of the canon. But a lot of people still have attitudes because if you go outside of it, you're going to hell. Yeah. All right. So I'm just simply saying now, at some point we'll do some parallels, but not right now. All right. So back to the Parsha. When you shall hearken to the voice of Yahuah Elohim to keep all his commandments, which I command you this day, to do that which is right in the eyes of Yahuah Elohim, you are the children of Yahuah Elohim. You shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. Okay, I started to put some old writings, but I said no, because I want to cause no stumbling blocks. But yeah, they would shave right in front where their eyebrows is, so to speak, and up on top of their head, make a little circle around there for the dead. I also highlight that because the translation, the word the, have there in green, it's not really there in the Hebrew there. So technically, if you read it in the Hebrew, it would say, Beniatem le Yahuah Elohecha, right? So technically it would say like, well, I'll get to it in just a minute. I'm probably jumping too fast. But my point is you'll see that it doesn't have the there. Anyway, verse 14 says, for you are a Chodesh people unto Yahuah Elohim, and you have chosen you to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the earth. Okay, so this is going to be very important for this next part. All right, so look at it. It says, so you are is implied, it's not a, you are children or sons or son of Yahuah your Elohim. It's technically what this says in Debariym. To be children or a son of Yahuah means to be chosen or special, right? Everyone agrees, right? Now, First Chronicles, the Debariym Aleph 28:6 says, and he said unto me, Shlomo or Solomon, your son, he shall build my house and my court. For I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. So I said, notice Yahuah chose Shlomo or Solomon to be his son, right? Mm-hmm. Why say I have chosen him to be my son if Israel is already his son? Why do that? Right? In the Hebrew there, we'll read that. I guess I'll be reading that part, right?
Yeah.
All right. So key, right, which is that which, I think it's translated here as have in the writings here. Let me just go to it really fast. Have, right. All right, so have, and this right here says, Bakarti Boli Lebain, right? Now, here is, he says what? This is, he has chosen, or he says, who has chosen? All right, so he says, what now? So it says, I have chosen. Right here, it says, Bo, which means what? In him, or I've chosen, it's just translated in English as him, okay? Li, right here, the preposition lamed there is attached to the yod. The yod there technically is ani, right? But the aleph and nun is dropped, put together, it's in this first person singular. But my point here is that here is who is chosen. Okay, he says, Lebain, for son, technically for what?
My son.
He's my son, right? And then it says, well, ani lo le'ab. Now, here you have and ani, so and I will be. It's in an imperfect tense that I will be. And if I just break this down here as to him or him as a father, or we know the lamed is like or for, or translated here as a father. So again, notice he's basically making something very personal between Solomon, that he's showing you that, listen, yes, Israel is my firstborn, is my son, but he's making a special type son for within Israel. Is everyone with me so far? Okay, so now he becomes a special son or the son. There is no contradictions in the understanding. Debariym 14:2 shows Israel as his son. We know that's also said in Shemot or Exodus. We know it's said in Hosea, right? Israel is my son. Debariym said, chapter 28, verse 6 says, Oh, First Chronicles. Yeah, my bad. Nah, it's just in the Hebrew. Debris.
Debris.
Yeah, debris. How you mean?
Oh.
That's how you say it, First Chronicles.
Oh.
Right. So it says, shows Solomon, who is within Israel, who was the son, but he's now like the king to lead, to be Mashiach over Israel, who is called Beni Elohim. He's called now the son of Elohim. Okay? So again, nice foreshadow, if you will, of Mashiach. There's no contradictions, is what I'm getting at for right now. But in the future, we'll come back and revisit this and start seeing why there's no contradiction in understanding Mashiach with it. He's already considered the son. You don't need to repeat that unless there's some type of son he's trying to do and be for Israel. And obviously,
He's building his house.
he's building the house. He's being the king. He's anointed. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, I'll digress there for right now. Closing Parsha here. So it says, you shall not eat any abominable thing. Now, when you're not eating any abominable thing, that is all the things that's considered unclean. It goes to that list. So we're not going to the list we went through it before. Next year, we might talk about, when it talks about the birds, notice there's like in Leviticus, there's, I believe, 20 birds. In Debariym, there's 21 birds. But we'll see that next year. Anyway, 14:23 says, and you shall eat before Yahuah Elohim in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithes of the corn or the wheat, grain, or of your wine and of your oil and of the firstling of your herds and of your flocks, that you may learn to fear Yahuah Elohim always. And if the way be too long for you, so that you are not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from you, which Yahuah Elohim shall choose to set his name there, when Yahuah Elohim has blessed you, then shall you turn it into money, and bind up the money in your hand, and go unto the place which Yahuah Elohim shall choose, and you shall bestow that money for whatsoever your soul lusts after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink. But it's a mad dog, Cisco, no, or that whatsoever your heart desires, and you shall eat there before Yahuah Elohim, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. Okay, hallelujah.
Moreh,
You can.
so what we just right here in closing out the Parsha, this is pertaining to the coming land that the Most High will place us in, right?
Right, well, they're actually going into the land, but they're also given, in other words, does it parallel if we're too far? Sure. He knew that as we go further into the Parsha, next couple of weeks, we're going to see Moses already going to tell us we're going to be kicked off the land.
Okay. Toda.
Oh yeah, you know what y'all going to do. Oh yeah, All right, Yeshe Elot Mishpacha. So any questions, family? Anything you guys want to share, add to the lesson, to this Parsha here? So I'll tell you, there's a lot of stuff that if we go back and start dissecting some of this stuff, we'll start to get a clear picture in the language. First, that's why I strongly suggest you start learning the language. I'm not saying it's going to be an overnight thing for some, but there's a lot of people that are doing it because they want to get better in understanding. I see a lot of translation issues, a lot of different things. I guess I'll say it that way. For right now, I'm just saying that it helps to start seeing what's going on when you start getting that way. And then as we keep going, marching through the next go around, we'll do a lot more Hebrew. We might have to add, or it's not no might about it, but we really have to talk about, grammar and things like that and syntax. It's painstaking studying, meaning, we really have to do, it'll be less of a Parsha and more of language. But my suggestion really is because I want to point out some things, the parallels. We start doing chiasms with it. So when we start doing the chiasms with it, you're going to see why it's so important to know it. You know, nothing against people that's King James, NIV, NSV, RSB, NET, NOUSE, Mickey Mouse. I'm just saying that we really have to get back into the language, the culture, and stuff like that.
So basically.
Hey, Moreh, do you have any suggestions as far as which apps to start learning the Hebraic language? Does anything come to mind that we, for example, can get from Google Play Store?
Oh, you want to play in Google? So let me see. You know, there are a book that there's quite a few books actually that actually works. So we did use years ago the First Hebrew Primer, and it's a biblical learning tool to help in a more fundamental way. It's not as intense as far as syntax is concerned, but it will give you vocabulary. It will give you tenses. It will give you perfect, imperfect, you know, gessive, infinitive. It'll give you all of those things. Add and drop letters. You know, it goes through those things. I would say that's a good starting point to get. And if you do that, you know, they even have digital copies of those for those that, you know, want that as well. But there are other ones outside of that. I don't know if that's in Google Play Store or not.
Amazon has it.
Right, yeah, Amazon has it. But really, I don't see no real app that's going to do something that technically a university or a college or something that can really help you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not an app like that, at least as of yet that I've seen. And so, or, you know, linking up with people that do know the language and going from there. But, you know, if you are going to do it, I wouldn't really use an app for that, though. I really would use something that's, if not a university, if not going to school for it, for an example, and I'm even caution with certain schools, you know, just start learning because, you know, at some point, learning that will help you even learn a little bit about the Ugaritic. If you decide to go this route, you know, Ugaritic, Akkadian, Canaanian, I guess I would say more or less with versus what they call Phoenician. That's more of a Greek coin term. And then just really learning, you'll start to see that a lot of older definitions really mirror the time of Moshe Moses and Zechariah and that time period, not the modern, let's say, concordance, right? So the point, let's say sometimes if I use a concordance, it's really simplify something for somebody, but it's really not concordance specifically, Strong's concordance. That's like overly dated, you know. That's for someone that's looking for something really fast, really quick. Sure, you can use that. But if you're trying to say, I'm going to get the definitions correct, I'm going to get the syntax out of it, absolutely not. You can throw that thing somewhere else. So.
Okay. Well, I'll try Barnes and Noble bookstores and see what they have. Perhaps they have something that I could learn the language, even to the point of just writing it out, just learning the numbers, learning the days of the weeks, and like you said, adding words, dropping words, just give me a basic foundation and then go from there.
I got a free PDF I can give you.
Yoko,
Yes.
I have a book, and it's called Beginner's Guide to Biblical Hebrew.
Hold on, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
Beginner's Guide to Biblical.
This is on recording, so we have to wait until
Hebrew.
we finish, and then you guys can.
Yeah, okay. I believe I purchased it at Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
If they don't have it, you may be able to look. They may be able to order it for you. It's a pretty thick book. It's got a lot of information on it. And
okay, thanks, Aki. I'll check it out. Thank you.
Where we went over four corners of the earth, the slave ships, we learned, different other masters or assets, languages, and it took us away from our culture. So how are people like us or parts of the world supposed to get back to the Hebrew? How are they supposed to understand the culture? Do they need different meanings?
Well, I mean, you just got to start learning. In other words, you know, there's like a lot of courses that you can learn. It gets back to the Semitic or Shemitic or Semitic, as most people say, language. Once you do that, it'll come as you learn. So it's just like someone talking about a calendar. I can talk about a calendar all day, but if you don't know what you're looking at, it's going to be very confusing to say because they're still trying to grasp the principle of what I'm saying. Same thing with Hebrew. You know, the best thing to do is to first, you know, get it, start walking it out, and watch what happens as you learn. You know, you got songs on YouTube. I love that. Give me a dollar. Hey, you can do the whole thing if you
Yeah,
want.
I've been doing that.
But then you'll go from there.
And then the next thing, so what about the, what else? Being patient, so that, and, when it comes back.
Okay, all right, no problem. All right, anyone else? Okay. If our hearts and minds is clear, we can stand and close. You stand and close. We have Gadar, you close us out?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a quick question, bro.
All right, hold on. After we close out, then I'll get with you real quick.
Okay.
All right.
The word that we heard today. We thank you for our Moreh for spending his hard time, long days, sharing this word with us. We pray, Father, that we just take this word that we heard today and we continue to apply it to our hearts and to continue to seek you, Father, and continue to be guided by your Yahuah, so that we can be all that you've called us to be. And we ask, Father, that you bless the food we're about to receive, that it may nourish our body. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We made it out. I was the weather. Okay, good.